So it being a little bit after 5:30, we'll call the Board of Health meeting to order. Would someone like to read the COVID paragraph? Do you want me to read it?
You read it. I don't have it in front of me, so.
Okay.
I have it, Steve, if you don't.
Oh, Pam. Oh, Trish, that'd be
Somebody
awesome.
else read it. I don't care.
Okay.
Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom, meeting ID number 880-9915-1478, or by calling 301-715-8592. For additional info about remote meeting participation, please contact Heather Hampson, Administrative Coordinator at hhampson@ayer.ma.us, or 978-772-8220, extension 145, prior to the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Peters.
You're welcome.
The first item on the agenda is public input. Is there any public input? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is the review of solid waste trash hauler regulations.
Yep, so just quick update on that one. I did reach Mark Wetzel, who, since he has officially retired, although you wouldn't know it because he's still using his DPW email. This isn't what I call retirement. He had asked Dan if he would take a look at it, and I got also an email back from Dan. So that's how we're going to get it through Board of Health. Dan's quite familiar, I guess, with the recycling info too. So, and then I don't think Bridget is joining us tonight, but that's the other thing I'll do is send a note to Bridget, because there were a few things that she wanted to verify in the existing regs. So I'll see if I can get that wrapped up for the next meeting.
Pam, who's reviewing them instead of Steve?
Dan, whose name I can't pronounce, Dan Shelwick.
Oh, okay, and he's DPW?
Yeah, yeah.
That name sounds familiar. Okay. All right.
Sounds good. Anything else, Pam?
Nope. That's it.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is Lori Nearing and Laurel Shader. Did I pronounce it correct?
On the first try too. Amazing. It doesn't usually happen.
So
I'll just provide a brief overview of what we're planning to do. And Laurel, you didn't hear, but Steve was not here for the presentations we had given now almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
The last one was last November. I was looking as I was.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. I honestly thought that was 6 months ago.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want to say I appreciate everything that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And to have a good conversation, you know, I need to come up to speed, and I apologize, I haven't got there yet, but if you could give us like the global view, and then you were saying, Laura, you did a PowerPoint. If we can get copies of the PowerPoint, you know, we can dedicate whatever amount of time you need so that we can participate adequately. And I'm sure Pam and Trish probably can now. And so that's where I'm at.
I was wondering if someone could enable the screen sharing, because we do have some slides and it's telling me it's disabled right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting another pen. I'm here.
I am doing that right now. We usually shut that off by default. Should be all set.
Great.
Are you sharing?
I've got.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it, Lori? I can do it if that's easier.
No, I have it. Are you seeing them?
Oh, I'll stop my
I see
share
it.
then. I was sharing it. You go ahead, Lori.
Okay.
All set?
Is it sharing now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you mind, Lori, is it okay if I share it? I think the fonts are showing up a little differently on your screen.
Oh, there it is.
That's
Yeah, that
okay.
looks good.
Okay, great.
Okay. Steve, what we'll do is we'll pause. We really have spent a lot of effort and time preparing this for tonight, and we'll pause and just provide quick background, and then we'll definitely come back. And the part of the background that you may need refreshing on is a little bit more about the chemistry of PFAS, but I'm confident that you know that it's a problem in air and that we have it in our drinking water and that it came from Fort Devens. And so this is a study, or this is a presentation that's focused more on the grant that we have been able to participate in through Silent Spring Institute. Laurel is the lead person. We've been working closely with her for, gosh, it's going on 2.5 years or something, I think now. And so the study is taking place all across the country. It's in 8 different locations, and I believe 7 different states. And Laurel is spearheading this study in both Hyannis and here in Ayer, because we both have the same problem coming from, our PFAS is coming from firefighting foam. So it's a contaminant that in very, very tiny amounts, it causes all kinds of health effects. And we're going to touch on all of that kind of as a refresher for everybody else today anyhow. What the rest of the board hasn't really heard much about is what is the study actually doing? And so that was our focus for tonight. The study is underway in Hyannis. It's gearing up here in Ayer. And so we're kind of focused on how we can work together, get your support in certain things that we're struggling with a little bit, but we definitely want you to be informed about the whole study. So that's kind of the purpose, and just jot down things. We can talk individually or talk later, but let's try to get through as many of the slides as we have time for, and then we can come back. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure. So we're talking what, 10 or 15 minutes or so?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Laurel, I'm going to let you take over from here because you know this part best.
Okay, sure. And feel free to jump in, Lori, if I'm forgetting something, and happy to answer questions along the way from any of the board members. So as I'm sure you're aware, PFAS are a growing water contamination issue here in Massachusetts and across the country. The State Department of Environmental Protection here in Massachusetts set a drinking water standard for PFAS of 20 parts per trillion for the sum of 6 PFAS. Whereas EPA has not set any standards yet, and the standard that's being currently worked on only includes 2 specific PFAS chemicals. So Massachusetts is one of the states that is acting ahead of the federal EPA. As a result of all that testing, more and more communities are discovering that they have a PFAS problem. Ayer, of course, already discovered their issue several years ago and has done a great job in addressing the water contamination and public water supply by putting in new treatment.
I'm going to jump in and say that PFAS is an umbrella term. There are hundreds of kinds of PFAS chemicals. The key thing is they all have fluoride in them, and that's what's causing the problem. So Laura was just mentioning that Massachusetts is more strict than the federal government is, and then other states are, in regulating 6 of those contaminants that are more common. And so we're focused on the ones that are in firefighting foam, in our case, and what's going on through the Grove Pond wells.
Okay. Thanks, Lori. All right, next slide. So in some of the earlier presentations that we've given here, we spent more time talking about the chemistry, as Lori was just alluding to, and about the ways that people can be exposed to PFAS. PFAS aren't just a concern for drinking water. People can also be exposed through food packaging, and consumer products. So PFAS exposures are common. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has conducted testing of PFAS levels in the blood of Americans and found that over 99% of Americans have measurable levels of PFAS in blood. And this is concerning because certain specific PFAS chemicals that have been studied for their health effects have been found to be linked to a wide range of health effects. Some of these include things like elevated cholesterol, changes in thyroid hormone levels. Some include changes to antibody responses to vaccinations. And currently, there are a lot of scientists and PFAS impacted communities that are wondering about COVID vaccine effectiveness and whether PFAS might be having an effect on that. And then in highly exposed communities, PFAS chemicals have also been linked to certain types of cancer, such as kidney and testicular cancer. But most of the information we have really pertains just to a few specific PFAS chemicals. So there's still a lot that we don't know about other PFAS chemicals, as well as about certain mixtures of PFAS chemicals, because we're all exposed to these chemicals in combination. So our study that we'll talk about tonight is part of what's called the multi-site health study. So this includes it's a study that's being funded and coordinated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry. So they have funding from DoD to conduct a study in communities in 7 different states. All of these are communities that have a history of PFAS drinking water contamination. So back in early 2019, when Lori and I were just getting to know each other, I had come out to Ayer to give a presentation about PFAS along with one of my colleagues from Northeastern University. So we applied to be part of the study, and our proposal was one of 7 that was successfully funded through this project. And the reason for having communities in different states is that you have more statistical power when you're able to have a larger study population. And by including more participants, it gives you more of an ability to evaluate whether exposures to certain PFAS chemicals are linked to certain types of health effects. Some of the communities in the study have firefighting foam contamination, like Ayer. Other communities have water contamination linked to industrial sources. So our study is called the Massachusetts PFAS in Your Health Study. So Silent Spring Institute is the lead institution. And Steve, I know you may not have heard of Silent Spring before. We're an independent nonprofit research organization focused on everyday chemical exposures and health. My own research has focused on PFAS since 2009, since we first found them in drinking water on Cape Cod. And my research more broadly focuses on exposures to PFAS from food, diet, and consumer products and related health effects. We're partnering with researchers from the Harvard School of Public Health and an organization called Eastern Research Group in Lexington. And then we have 2 community partners for our 2 communities. So Massachusetts Breast Cancer Coalition is our community partner for Hyannis, and we're pleased to be working with people of Ayer concerned about the environment for our work in Ayer.
We're pleased to work with you as well.
So, yeah, thank you. So what's the scope of our study? So there are some boundaries or some parameters of the study that are set by CDC and ATSDR. So all 7 projects have been tasked with recruiting 1,000 adults and 300 children. So that's the total study population that we aim to recruit across both of our communities combined. Hyannis is about twice the size of Ayer, and the water contamination started to be addressed earlier. So for those 2 reasons, we are starting recruitment in Hyannis first. And we're also aiming to recruit about 2/3 of our overall study participants from Ayer, so roughly 700 adults and 200 children in Hyannis, and then the remaining 1/3 in Ayer, so around 300 adults and 100 children in Ayer. As you might imagine, trying to do a health study during a pandemic is tricky. So we've had just a few delays along the way. So we're just at the point of launching recruitment and enrollment in Hyannis. We actually have our 2nd participant come in tomorrow. We're kind of slowly ramping up data collection in terms of people coming to our clinic for collection. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what that entails. We don't know yet when the 2nd phase of our study will start in Ayer, but sometime mid-2022. So who's out? Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask a question? May 2006 to February 2018, that's the time frame, not people that were living in Ayer or working on Devons or exposed to anything else before that?
Sure.
Just-
So yeah, that's a great question. And these are set by ATSDR and to ensure consistency across the site. So you might be wondering why those two specific dates. So February 2018 is when the Grove Pond well 8, that water started to be diverted away from the water supply. So before that well exceeded the EPA lifetime health advisory. So that's kind of our cutoff. And we have a similar cutoff in Hyannis in terms of when the water sources that exceeded the EPA lifetime health advisory were either shut off or started to be treated. So that explains the 2018. We want to be sure that we're including people who were exposed in some way. I mean, people could have, maybe some people may not have lived in Ayer for very long before that, and some people may have, be lifetime residents. So that's the reason for the 2018. So people have to have lived in Ayer before then. And then the reason for the May 2006, so the ATSDR study also stipulated that exposures should have happened within the past 15 years. And we sort of set this criteria back in May of this year when we started to put recruitment materials together for Hyannis. So I guess technically for Ayer, this is more like 16 years, but ATSDR said it's okay to sort of use the same date for both communities. The reason for that is that certain PFAS chemicals can stay in our body for years. And there's a certain amount of time that it takes for the amount of PFAS in your body to go down by, say, a factor of 2, even if you stop being exposed. Because we're using measures of PFAS in the blood as a marker of exposure, if people were exposed before then, we think that they wouldn't really still have elevated PFAS in their bodies. So it would be difficult for us to assess their exposure if they lived in Ayer before 2006 and not after that time.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So anyone who lived in Ayer between those years is eligible to take part in the study. So you don't have to live in Ayer currently. And children ages 4 to 17 are also eligible either if they lived in Ayer during that time or if their mothers lived in Ayer during that time prior to their child's birth. We do know that PFAS can be passed along from mothers to their children during pregnancy and through breastfeeding. So it's possible that children could have had elevated exposures that way as well. People who live in the same household can participate, so there's no limit to the number of people in one home that can take part in the study. And like I said, you don't have to live in Ayer now to be eligible. Because the focus of the study is on drinking water exposures, and this gets to your question, Trish, about people who worked at Devons, we want to be able to explore the exposures people had from drinking water. So people who were firefighters or sort of in other communities who might have worked at a PFAS production facility and had exposures through their work are not eligible for the study because they would have had these other exposures as well beyond just the drinking water exposures.
Anything else on this?
Okay, so I wanted to give you a sense of what you'll be asked to do if you take part in the study. And those are the 2 cutest kids in the world, I have to say, because they're my kids. I dragged to our Hyannis clinic instead of to the beach during one of our days on the Cape this summer. So there are a few pieces to the study, and you can start to get a look at the office clinic that we have set up in Hyannis as a little video to share if we have time to look at that. So what we'll ask you to do for an office visit is to come in and provide a blood sample, a fasting blood sample, a urine sample. We ask to know about your current medications. And we also collect basic health information. We do some body measurements like height and weight and blood pressure. We also have a questionnaire, which we mainly aim to do by phone to be more convenient and to minimize people's time in the office. It asks about medical conditions, where people have lived and worked over time, and about their water consumption. And then for children, there's also a set of neurobehavioral tests.
Sorry. What happened?
Lori.
Here in our.
Oh, how do we get back?
Lori's telling me to have a talk fest.
No, I'm not. I was just
Um,
trying to adjust because we're missing the bottom of that screen at least on my screen.
Oh, I think it's just because you're sharing, Lori. We can see it just fine.
Okay, okay, good.
Just the Zoom thing. So there's also a set of neurobehavioral tests for children. These are sort of like learning and memory games, because the study is also looking for possible links between PFAS and neurobehavioral concerns.
Laurel, can I ask you, when did PFAS start being identified as a contaminant? Not in air, just globally. When did the science on PFAS contamination come about?
That's a great question. I would say around the year 2000, there were some scientists that were starting to measure PFAS, say in wildlife in the Arctic. They were starting to get a sense that these were chemicals that were very persistent and very mobile in the environment. So there were sort of a small group of scientists on the environmental side that were starting to understand that these were really pervasive pollutants. But I would say that it's really just been in the past 5 or 10 years when they really started to get a lot of attention because of their widespread discovery in drinking water. And that's due to the fact that there are now measurement techniques that allow a lot of different labs to actually detect parts per trillion levels of PFAS. So it's not that they're in the water now and they didn't used to be, but it's just that we have a better lens to detect them. And the fact that we keep finding them in so many places, particularly in drinking water, has really gotten a lot of people's attention, even though they've been in consumer products since the 1950s.
And I'll just supplement that by, I think that's a really good question. We've been following the work at Devon's, all the remediation issues since we moved here. So 1997, I think is, or 98 is when I started getting involved in being concerned about mainly arsenic, that was a big problem. And all those things were being addressed. And Julie Cornswit and I were thinking, oh, we can finally be done with all this work at Devon's. And then in 2016, we started hearing this word PFAS at our meetings. And it's kind of like, just another chemical. But honestly, it took me another year for me to realize how severe this problem is, in part because I've come to realize because it doesn't break down. Once we make it, it's just like it's part of the water cycle that we all learned about, that it keeps cycling around. So it gets into our bodies and it gets into the urine and then it gets into the sewage treatment plant and then it gets back into the water system and then it goes into the rivers and then we drink it again. And it's pretty frightening. So I've been to a number of meetings and heard firefighters speaking about how severely contaminated they are because of all the things that regular people get. Plus it's in all of their gear and it's in the firefighting foam that they use because it waterproofs and stain proofs materials. And it's the original Teflon material that I grew up with Teflon. I don't know if you did, but just today I threw out one of my Teflon pans actually. Yeah, so pretty frightening. I'm going to suggest that we go maybe to one more slide, which gives a good overview of the office situation, and then come back. And that's about half of the slides we had prepared for tonight. If that's
Okay.
reasonable to you.
Where would the office be located at if
Very
someone
good
was
question.
participating?
You know Jim Fay? He's working on that right now for us.
Who is?
Jim
Jim
Fay is
Fay?
volunteering to help us. Jim Fay is helping us out. We're working with a realtor to find a place, and we have to determine with Bridget's help, actually, whether or not we need to be qualified as a medical facility. And we're pretty sure we do not. If we needed to be qualified as a medical organization, then we have a lot of limitations with where we can be zoning wise. But we're not really a medical.
There's not an office yet. Then you're in the exploratory phase for. Okay, thank
Right.
you.
Have some ideas, let us know. So,
Okay.
yes. And was this the next slide or did I miss one? Did I miss one? What are we measuring?
Which slide are you looking for, Lori?
I'm looking for what are we measuring? I'm looking at what are we measuring?
Oh.
I'm looking for the one with June and the little video.
Oh, is it the next one?
Yes. Do you want to go over the previous slide real quick first, just so we're at a good stopping point?
We could, or do you want to show the video of the office so that you get a sense of our office? So this is a space in the space that we currently are renting in Hyannis. It was, I think it used to be a medical office, but it's not necessarily in a zone for a medical area. So it gives you a sense of the space and how we've divided it up. There's different configurations that might work for the Ayer office as well, but we would be looking for something similar.
Here we go.
Hi, my name is June, and I'm the study coordinator for the MA PFAS and Your Health study here in our offices on Main Street in Hyannis.
Hi, so this is our entryway in which all of our study participants will come through. Here we have our station where we'll be screening all of our participants for COVID.
And then after that is done, student participants will be coming in to wait for their consent to be done, then their body measurements and their blood work. Hi again, it's Barbara. I'm the data collection specialist, along with my colleague Kelly, who'll be in this room doing body measurements and also blood pressure.
Hello, my name is Kelly and I'm the phlebotomist for the study. I will be taking all the blood here for the study, and I'll also be doing body measurements, blood pressure readings, and we're also going to be doing the tinnitus scan. Hello again, and it's Kelly from the study here in Hyannis. I just wanted to introduce my colleague. Her name is Katie. She will also be doing the processing in the biosafety cabinet. And thank you so much.
Hi, it's Kate again in our blood processing room. Here I have with me all of our tubes and supplies that we use to process the blood.
Hello all. Along with the processing tubes that Kate mentioned, here's our freezer where all of our samples will be stored.
I will be assisting in processing. As you can see, we have our centrifuge and we will be quantifying our blood and urine samples.
That's it.
We look forward to welcoming you. Hi, my name is
Wow,
June.
Thank you.
Oh,
Offices on Main Street in Hyannis.
I think it's still playing, Lori. You've got to pause it. We can still hear it.
yeah.
There we go.
So I think that was like a bunch of little snippets that were intended to be able to stand on their own too. But we put that together for a community advisory board meeting just so people could start to get a preview of our space.
Oh, thank you. That was
It's a
very
nice
good.
space.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it. It looks really nice.
Yeah, June Zhao is our study coordinator, and she's done a great job, turning that space into a friendly, welcoming study clinic area.
Yeah.
But Laurel, you're not using a commercial lab then? You're doing the lab work yourself? Is that?
So we have hired a phlebotomist to do the blood samples and to do the processing of the blood samples.
Collection, yeah.
And then the samples get sent off to different laboratories. So some go to things like cholesterol, blood sugar, that goes to a commercial lab called LabCorp. Some of the samples go to CDC. So for instance, the PFAS analysis will be done at the CDC lab. And then other samples go to actually SUNY in New York, an academic lab there. And then other samples will be archived. So we'll be put in that big -80 freezer for other analyses down the road.
Thanks. Is that information all included in something if I wanted to read more about the process? Is there?
About like which pieces of that? I'm happy to share whatever information. What specifically would you like to know about?
In terms of the labs that are being used in the process, I'd be interested in learning more.
Sure.
For
Yeah,
myself.
we can send you some information. Sure.
That would be good.
Where we are now with the outreach that we're doing is I am the community liaison. And so I've been trying to reach out to all of the main boards and committees in town, your board being, of course, one of the primary ones, select board as well. We have not had luck getting anybody in the school to get back in touch with me. They don't understand, I guess. I'm not sure why, but the superintendent there is not reachable. So we're still trying to get a hold of them. But just further outreach, we're the end of the slideshow we go through. So we'll come back to this. Just so you know, for now, our goal is to continue to let people know about the study, to try to get them interested in signing up for it. I don't think it's going to be too hard for us to get 300 adults and 100 children signed up for this. I want people to know that it's a really important study, that I'm hoping that they'll want the result and want to support the study. And they do get some gift coupons, which we didn't get to that part of the slides, but they get adults get $50 and children actually get 75 because they have to do extra stuff. So, you know, if you have a family of 5, that's pretty good money. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the main reason I think people should want to do this. They would want to know what's in the box. And
Can you send us a copy of your slides that you put together, Lori?
I already sent them to Heather this morning.
Okay.
I mean, not this morning.
I'll get them from Heather. Thanks.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And there's some additional slides to go through, and there's a lot of information about the chemistry part of all of this. If you wanted to read up on that as
I'm
well.
fairly familiar with that part of it.
Okay, that's kind of what we thought.
Yeah. Lori, what about the hospital? They have a liaison. I can't remember the lady's name. She came, we talked to her maybe 2 years ago, Pam, I think when we were talking about the opioid, and I can't remember her name, but they have a pretty good force up there. I'm really surprised that the school is not.
Yeah, me too. The hospital and outreach, mean Trish?
Excuse me?
Reach out to the hospital for doing outreach?
Yeah, I was just wondering because, you know, they're a community hospital and they have a lot of tentacles there.
Yeah, we have had thank you. We have had a conversation with I guess it's the CEO there. Actually, Jim Fay talked to them to see if we could have our office space there. And unfortunately, we're not allowed because of COVID restrictions.
Right.
We're not allowed to. So this is where we're running into a lot of roadblocks. Normally, I would be doing presentations at the schools.
Right.
Other public. Yeah. And I can't do it at the library. I can't do the police station. I can't do it. I can do it at the Great Hall, but the echo-ness, you know.
It's not good.
Yeah, that's a hard place to,
You know, maybe we can look at an agenda item or maybe even have a meeting to talk about this more in detail in terms of how we can help and what assistance we can provide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be great. I mean, at this point, as I mentioned, you know, we're not ready to start doing any data collection in there, but I think laying the groundwork, raising awareness so that when this study does come to air, and we'll be able to hit the ground running a lot more easily because we'll have the experience from Hyannis. And I just wanted to add also, you know, we have this bigger goal of the 1,000 adults and 300 children, and, you know, sort of estimated 2/3 of them might come from Hyannis just because it's a larger community. But we'll have to see how it goes in Hyannis. It's possible that, you know, we have a lot of recruitment activities planned. We're sending out postcards, community events, that kind of thing. It's possible, you know, we'll get a big burst of enthusiasm and then things will kind of at some point taper off, you know, and we might decide like maybe we think Ayer, there'll be a lot more interest, or, you know, we'll have a sense maybe from you of how many people have signed up, and maybe it would be more of an even split, just you know, rather than trying to chase down, you know, 700 adults in Hyannis, that might take all of next year to hit that target. Maybe it makes sense to switch earlier. So that's, I know I wish I could give you a more precise estimate of when we start in Ayer, but that's some other considerations too, is when things slow down enough in Hyannis, there might still be a trickle of people, but maybe we decide, you know, we have to wrap up and move on.
Sure. Well, let's if the information comes to us, the slides, and then we'll try to figure out some time where we can dedicate quality time to help you guys. Okay. Does that sound?
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, the Ayer community page too, Rory, and the town. You can put it on the town page. I've seen a lot of pace things on there before. So
the presentation we gave the select board has been posted already.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because we don't have a town paper anymore. It's just
I know.
Facebooking is a lot of social media stuff is what we're trying. We'd love to have neighborhood meetings though. So we'll go into this more, but we also have some issues we would love to talk to you in more depth about, what's going on with working with the Army and how helpful the DPW has been, and
Sure.
both Mark
Yeah.
and
Okay. Unfortunately, it's almost 6:15, so we have to move on. Okay.
thank you
But
so much for your time.
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Laurel, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Steve. Good to see you again. Everyone
My
else.
pleasure.
Yes.
Look forward to
thank
talking
you,
again
Laurel.
soon.
I'm,
Thank
Bye,
you so
Lori.
much.
Thank you.
I'm going to stick
Bye.
around and listen, but I'm going to just
Yeah,
my video.
I think I'm gonna sign off, but thank you.
thank you, Laurel.
Okay,
Bye.
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 Thank you. So moving on in the agenda, COVID-19, did you get a copy of the COVID report that I sent out this morning, which was
Mhm.
the Shoba?
Yeah.
So Ayer still looks pretty good in terms of vaccinations, but my understanding is not just in Ayer, but across the country, the numbers are spiking again.
Yep.
And it tends to be mainly unvaccinated and kids from unvaccinated.
Yeah.
I talked to Bridget about it, and I think in terms of gatherings, people are being more cautious. I know some of the events that have happened in Ayer, they're asking for people to mask, and I think it's been received somewhat positively. I haven't heard any negativity about masking, but you know, that book, Pam, that we were talking about from 2000 or 1918, if you read about the Spanish flu, it's the exact same thing all over again. This, you know, and the spikes in November, and then it will probably ease off again as the winter goes on. But you know, precaution, just be smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was hopeful when I saw the numbers. I thought maybe we were heading in the right direction, but yeah, the holidays are gonna be the key.
Well,
See which way it goes.
I think if there's anything that we can extend is, you know, just people be cautious. And that's about
Yeah.
it.
Well, there's another effect that I hadn't even thought of this until I was reading in the paper. It was either today or over the weekend that hospitals, even people that are coming in through the ER in a lot of large hospitals, are having, you know, they're back to lining people up in the corridors. And it's not only because of COVID this time, it's because of COVID. And you have that whole year or more when people put off having other medical procedures
Yep.
done.
Yep.
And now they're at a point where it's like, oh, I've put this off for a year or more. I got to do it.
Right.
So it's kind of a perfect storm, and it's a bad time for that to happen with
Yep.
holiday gatherings coming up. So
Exactly.
I don't think Bridget had the day off, so she won't be here tonight. And I know that in terms of an Neshoba update, there was a packet that Heather sent out, and it's mainly food service permits.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be, if we had questions about them, I guess it might be better to have Bridget present to talk to her about it.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, because she's the one that does the inspection, so I don't want to second guess anything.
Yep.
Yep.
And in terms of an Neshoba update, the only thing that I guess I could update you on is there was an issue of trash at a residence on Sandy Pond Road, and I think that was resolved. I saw dumpsters there, and it appears as though that was taken care of. So,
Okay.
anything else about Neshoba that?
No, like you said, what if
I don't think so.
rather have it hear it from Bridget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to read the minutes from
Yes.
November
Yep.
the 8th?
Yeah.
Yep.
Any additions, deletions, or corrections?
No.
Not that I had.
Is there a
No.
motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from November 8th.
I'll
there a
second that.
Motion's made in second, hearing no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sounds good.
And
Um,
we can sign them in person down there, Steve. That's what I did last time. I think
That's
it's,
what I did, Trish, too. I think it makes it easier for Heather that way, too.
yeah, I know.
Heather-
Yeah, and I have something to catch up on with Heather too. So
Yeah, and all
when I
that
come in to
scanning.
get my computer, I'll do them all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we can stop in and sign the minutes, I think that would be helpful
Yeah.
for her. That way she doesn't have 3 copies of the
Yeah.
same
Oh,
minutes
yeah.
with the signature on each page.
it's not like we
Sure.
live far away either.
Yep.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
good with that, Heather? Is Heather still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what makes it easiest for me. And yeah, I have so much paper between the 3 departments that I'm doing. So the least that I can keep on my desk, the better.
Okay. We'll just stop.
Got it.
We'll stop in and sign it then.
Yep.
All right, very good. I'll make sure I have those ready. I'll try to make sure I have those ready first thing tomorrow, just in case whatever time you guys stop by.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. It's administrative matters. So the first administrative matter was, do we want to nominate a clerk for the Board of Health?
Well, that would have been me. And I'm just saying, I was always like crazy trying to write and fill things in and then, pass them in, and that didn't work. But Heather has always taken down such great notes that I don't feel that bad. I mean, as long as as my grandmother would say, my chicken scratch isn't put in,
Yeah.
taken as gospel, but I am keeping track of what we are talking about. But I also think whatever Heather is tallying in the
Sure.
background would be just fine. If you want to say that, that's,
Yeah, I think just organizationally, it's good to have a clerk. So,
Okay.
but
Well, let's make it official.
is there a nomination?
I nominate my good friend and colleague, Patricia Peters, as clerk of the Board of Health.
Any other nominations? I don't hear any. Nominations are closed. Is there a motion to, I got a point? No, to ask Trish Peters to be the clerk. I'll make the motion.
okay.
Is there a
I,
second?
yeah, go ahead, Pam, second.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Trish.
Yay, this is so much better than chair.
I just think it
Oh, gosh.
fills
I
in
know what you're saying, yes.
fills in
It's
the
nice.
spaces. Okay.
Dot your
Um,
i's, and cross your t's, yes.
Yeah.
Tobacco and trash hauler permit update. Is that something that you had,
Yeah.
Heather, or?
Yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know, so the trash hauler permits and the tobacco permits are due at the end of the year. I have already sent out all the tobacco permit renewals to the realtors in town. I know of a couple that have closed just from driving around. I noticed those, so I didn't send those out. And then the trash haulers I'll probably send out beginning next week. I already had one company call about renewing theirs. They're usually pretty good about that. Some of the everyday ones usually I get them sent to me and I'm like, oh, that's right, I gotta do that. That's how I remember. I wanted to run by Steve, now that you're chair. Typically the board would generally just sign those. I don't know if you want to actually have those for a meeting and actually make a motion to vote to approve those coming up. Just because they are due at the end of the year and we only have that one meeting in December in order to do that. So I just wanted to have it on the agenda to give you a heads up on what's going to be coming and how you want to handle the issuing of those licenses coming up in the next meeting.
Can you put just a list of the licenses together to send
Yeah.
out to us so we know who they are?
Well, I do need you to come in and sign them, but yeah, I can
Yeah,
definitely do that
but-
for the agenda. Yes. Yeah.
But, if there's a list, how did you do it in the past in terms of, did you review each one or did you just, if there were no issues, just renew the permit? Is that?
Yeah, no issues, just renew the permit. And I think Heather, last year you did that by sending them to me in like a couple of packets.
Yeah,
You'd
'cause we were-
you'd accumulate a few and send them
Yeah, we were
on.
closed last year, so I would just mail them to you and then with being
Yeah.
open. Yeah, I can scan them and you guys can review them. Essentially, when the applications come in, we just make sure that they've submitted all the information supposed to, the customer list and the registration for their trucks.
Okay.
And I just make sure all that stuff's there, then they pay their fee and they get their license. And
So-
that list gets updated on the website. So if anybody needs to know who's a trash hauler in town, we have an updated list every year on the website.
Okay,
Yep.
if you can send those out to us, then between now and maybe the first week in December or whatever is reasonable for you, Heather, we can stop by and sign them.
Yeah,
And-
so the tobacco one should be coming in soon, and I'm gonna send the trash hauler ones out next week, so they probably won't start coming back until the second or third week of December. It's just, I
Well,
have
it-
so much going on, trying to remember to get all these things done in a timely manner, just,
Yeah.
it's,
Sure. Well, if Pam and Trish are okay with it, I would just say unless one of us holds up on one of the license signings, we should just sign them in your office and they'll go forward.
Yeah.
Are you
Is it
good?
all
You good with
three?
that,
all
Trish?
three- Yeah, is it all
I
three
think just-
signatures or just the chair sign?
I think it's just the chair that
just the
signs.
chair.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
Well, then I'll stop in and sign them. And if there's any that I have any concern with, I'll get back to you guys. How's that?
Okay.
all right, that sounds.
Sounds
great.
good.
Okay,
I'll let you know when they start coming in, Steve, so you know when to come in and sign them.
sounds good, Heather. Is there any mail for the board?
We did not get any mail. That wasn't just burial certificates, so,
Okay, and no bills.
nope.
And did you guys have a chance to look at the call report that we got from Heather? Do you have any questions on that?
No, I looked at it. I didn't
No.
print it out. I just looked at it, but yeah,
Yeah, I did the same and
nothing was glaring.
Yeah.
nothing
I didn't
jumped
see
out at
anything
me.
That
Yeah.
jumped out. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else to come before the board?
Just the action items for the next meeting. What, actually,
Speaking of which, when is the next meeting? What,
The next meeting is the 13th, I believe, of December. It's that one Monday. The board just meets that one Monday.
Yeah.
The new employee over at Neshoba, Jenna Montgomery, is gonna come. She wants to come to the board to update what she's been doing over with Neshoba. I believe she's the
Hmm.
community outreach or whatever person over
okay.
there. So she's requested to come to the board, and I did mention that to you, Steve,
Yep.
when I saw you a couple weeks,
Yep.
just so you know that she'll be on the agenda.
okay, if she
But we
has,
do,
if she has something, Heather, she can give us to review before she gets here, that would be real helpful.
yeah, I will contact her tomorrow about that. Yeah, the only meeting is on the 13th. And
Okay.
at that meeting too, we should set our meeting schedule if Trish, since you're the clerk, if you want to do that, or if Pam wants to do that, bring that up. Or I can try to find it and bring that up to the board. I mean, usually Mary did it, and I think Pam, you did
No.
it last year, so.
I think I did it last year.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did it last year.
did you? You didn't have your little pocket calendar like? that
Oh, jeez, I
you-
know. We always said, how are we gonna know when to meet if Mary ever leaves, you know?
Yeah, so if one of you don't want to do it, I can find the time.
I'll do
to
it.
draft that real
I
I'll
don't
quick.
care.
work on it with Pam.
All right,
Yeah.
and we'll have that on the agenda as well for the next meeting.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Sounds
Okay.
good.
That's all I have.
Okay, well, listen, I hope everyone has a real good Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. You
And
too.
I hope anyone listening plays it safe in terms of COVID, and we'll all get through
Yeah.
this eventually.
I know.
Absolutely. Take care of yourselves,
Oh,
everyone.
man.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Come on, Pam.
Yes, I motion that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Motion is made and seconded to adjourn the Board of Health meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
All right.
Heather, thank
Wonderful.
you. Cindy, thank you.